Yeah, you're on stage. Okay, guys, thanks for bearing with us. We're trying to get this technology thing done. And Christina is assuming the role of regional rep over time. So, Christina, the meeting is yours.
Thank you. Welcome to Writers Night Out. I'm Christina Berenberg, and I went to the spring conference and I had an amazing time. So the one that stood out to me the most, it was the Gut Rhythm by Crafting Post That Sings by Berkeley, by Jennifer McDonough. I guess I said it right. And she gave us examples that I'm gonna post later on the email. And that was one of them that stood out to me. And then I had Food for Inspiration with Roni Dundai. It was the first cookbook authored by an African-American, Melinda Russell, that was published in 1866. I thought that was fascinating. So I wanted to share that with everyone. And also, I had When Your Lit Get Personal, writing about self and family with Zachary Verna, which I have a book. Right here, that he signed a copy to each one of his in the classroom, and it's about in 6th grade how transformation, basically puberty, how it changes a person. A great book I started to read. And also we had the bestseller Ron Rush, the author. He was the guest speaker. And he also signed the book, which he gave something about, you know, the cover, which I thought that was pretty amazing.
So Christina, not everyone knows about the conference. So can you just give everybody a background and also for the recording of where it was held, how long it was, and how it,
okay.
What happened over there?
The North Carolina Writers Network, it was held in Asheville from May 2nd till the 4th. And it was basically with inside with the self-publishing companies, and it was books from the authors, and also it was books that if you want to sell it, you could bring 5 copies of your book if you want to sell it. And it had open mic, and it was amazing. You know, Sherry, she's the one, Holbrook Atkinson, she gave a beautiful over for poem. And basically, I just enjoyed being a part of the network and participated in all the classroom. And I just wanted to get the most knowledge for everyone, so I could post, you know, on the emails. So if you're interested in nonfiction or, you know, cookbook or in actual ghost stories, I mean, I was fascinated how much I learned in the classrooms.
Yeah. So with the conference, this is twice a year, right? And I believe the next one is going to be on the eastern part of the state. I think they try to rotate it from the east to the central and then over to the western part. So this year it was in the western part in Asheville. I believe this coming year in the fall, it will be over in the eastern part of the state. And a couple of years ago, it was in Charlotte, right? So we move it around. But Tommy has been to this conference. I've been to it. Now Christina's been there. Highly recommend it if you get an opportunity to go to the conference.
And I've been there too.
And you've been there too, Rosa. Yes, thank you.
It was great. Yes.
It's an amazing opportunity, especially the membership that has to offer, you know, workshops, and it's a day to spend with the author, and it's just to get to know how they write and what they have to say. It's an amazing program. I love it.
How many people were there?
there were probably like over 100. There were a lot.
It's not feedback, but we're hearing your voice and Vince's through some speakers on one of those devices up there.
Mine is on mute.
What is he saying?
He said that
Uh-oh, you just muted yourself. You just muted everyone.
Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay.
Or tell me.
Now there should also not be an echo now, correct?
That's correct.
There's no echo.
There was an echo and now there's not. You've muted the
No, there's
audience.
no echo.
Right.
Yeah, now it's good.
Is there an echo for Tom?
I don't think so.
Is that better, Tom?
Yes, we can hear you once.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, we fixed the delay.
Oh, yes, very good.
Now, I would like to go around the room and hear a little bit about everyone. Starting with James. If you want to come over here.
Let's start with Rosa.
Oh, let's start with Rosa. You go first.
And Rosa, as you describe yourself, you can also jump into the 5-word prompt, so we'll get everyone
Yes.
started on that in case we run out of time.
Okay, I'm going to make one request before I do that. I'm seeing the left side of the room. Is the camera not pointed to anyone on the right side of that table?
No, there's no one.
Not your camera. Yeah, that one. Okay, good, good. Thank you. I was just, trying to make sure I see that whole room. It's looking good in terms of working through that. I love it. Anyway, my name is Rosa Patterson-Butler. I go by Rosa Patterson. That's my maiden name. I'm going to have to come up with a writer's name so I can probably shorten that a little bit, but that's my official legal name and I love it. Anyway, I am, can I still say I'm new to this group? I am so glad that I met Vincent. It feels now, Vincent, that was, feels like a couple of years ago now, just coincidentally, and learned about this writers network. I'm from Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, and I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. Now I'm in IT, and so I do IT contracts, but it's the project management side of IT. I know sometimes when people say IT, you think it's everything, but it's not. It's flattering that people think that I can know so much or do so much, but I take on things like a project. Anyway, I'm learning a lot in terms of writing. We got an echo now. All right, it's gone. And so I've been journaling all my life and just listening to writers who, those of you who've been published or not, just listening to everyone's ideas. And especially at that conference that I went to, I learned a lot, in terms of how you can look at writings, in terms of, I don't have to use all of my journaling in one writing. And thus, Tom, when you were speaking on that last month, breaking it into just components or stories themselves. So I think that has definitely been helping me with how to organize getting something out there from what I've been doing for a long time. Now that I'm at retirement age, I can focus a lot more, but I'm still working too. Thus my 5-word prompt. If you want me to go into that, it does kind of deal with exactly that. You want me to read it?
Yes.
All right. So the 5 words that were prompts this month were awesome, opportunity, history, small, and fight. And so I said, when the phenomenal call came in from a well-known global organization asking Jenna to help address a project with some technical issues they were facing, She saw it as an awesome opportunity, even without knowing the details. Every time she got in a fight with herself over whether she should fully retire or continue life as she had come to know it, her personal journey to combine care and compassion with technical savvy, somebody or something or would splash in a challenge that would spur her unstopping drive to continue. She began her approach as with any small project she undertook. First, she needed the history. So she immediately began to gather input, and she assertively, instinctively asked, well, what equipment are you using? And she captured the names, make, and model as the most important starting point. The end.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. So, Bob, you came in, and you're at the end of the table. Would you mind coming up to the front of the podium and introducing yourself for the benefit of the folks out here and tell us all about what you've been up to? And you can do a separate, come around that way.
Okay.
You can also, if you want to tell us about the Atlantic journey, that would be, that'd be awesome. I don't know if you'll tie the 5 words into that, but based on our conversation before, I learned something I didn't know. And that said, cruise ships aren't the only boats afloat.
Okay, let me move this.
Just the camera. Thank you.
There we go. Hi, I'm Rob White-Harvey. And I missed the last meeting because as Vincent was saying, I did a trip to France and to Paris and then up to Le Havre. And we caught the Queen Mary 2, the last remaining ocean liner, purpose-built ocean liner. And we crossed the Atlantic in 7 days. It meant a lot to me because coming from Nova Scotia, Canada, the Cunard line started in Halifax, Nova Scotia, eventually moved to England and had all those famous ships, but it started in Canada, and where there still are Cunards delivering oil to your house and working in shops and everything. It's a common family name. And anyway, it was a great experience for me. I've been hearing my father went over with the Canadian Army in 1940, went to Europe on the Queen Mary, the original Queen Mary, very different ship from very different time. I built models of it. Winston Churchill said that ship shortened the war by 2 years because it carried 1 million soldiers, 1 division at a time. And so it was always very important to me. I studied Admiralty law and everything else. And so just being on the ship was a big personal thrill. I don't know what I'm going to do with it in terms of writing. I might have some adventure in there somewhere if I really think about it. But I did get a 3-hour tour of the ship and gathered as much information as I could. But in some of my stories, in 2 of the 3 novels I've been working on, there's a lot of stuff about ships. And there's people who are engineers on ships. And there's all kinds, container ships, grain, bulk carriers, all kinds of things. And so I'll find a place to work some stuff in sooner or later. I don't know where. And I probably can get a good short story or 2 out of it. I just haven't had time to think of that. I haven't completely unpacked yet. So, yeah, I'm still trying to find things that are missing, I can say that even though I'm not a US citizen, I'm a green card holder, people were talking very alarmist, green card people can be deported for, just saying the wrong thing. and that sort of thing. But in fact, I had the nicest, friendliest, of course, this was New York City. I was welcomed back into the country in Brooklyn, New York, and it was the smoothest, most pleasant re-entry. But people were saying, you know, take things off your phone, don't have things on your computer. And everybody, of course, has stuff on their phone. They've got a brother-in-law, Tim, somewhere, who loves to send you funny jokes, you know, send you funny little quips here and there. And but I didn't know. I mean, I didn't really want to have a lot of political stuff in my phone anyway, but we cleaned it up a little. But other than that, it was like I don't want to say bucket list thing because that usually sounds foolish, you know, old people jumping out of airplanes and nonsense like that. But this is a goal in life I wanted to do. 7-day crossing, 4 meals a day, gourmet food, the best food I've ever eaten. People working there who just, best way to describe it is they seem to love their jobs. They didn't seem to be like going in a Starbucks and it's like, oh, I roll my eyes, I hate my job, but you know, blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, it was a real competition, the best train crews in the world. And they hire almost entirely from within. So people start at the bottom and work their way up. And so it was a very pleasant trip. Helped me change my mind on a few things. And now I'm putting 2 books out to contests. And, you know, the contest is very little chance you're going to win. You know, it might be 1,000 to 1 shot or worse, you know. But the last one I did, I got a, what do they call it? It was like it wasn't a short list, but it was at least a long list on an NCWN contest, the Thomas Wolfe Fiction Prize. I was a semifinalist, you know. Well, didn't get any money out of it, but that's something that you can put in your next letter when you send something out. You know, it's the kind of creds you want, you know. People think, well, these people trusted the guy. Well, maybe I should read it too, because they're bombarded with an avalanche of paper and digital stuff. And so, yeah. So I'm getting 2 books out, 2 stories, and 2 books in another place. So I hope to get it out. I hope something attracts some attention. I don't know. I can't guarantee anything, but
Keep us posted. Bob.
sure.
Keep us posted.
Yep.
Tommy, an update from the master, Thomas Doonan.
That's right.
Squire. Well, he's walking to the podium. Well, I can tell you as a kid growing up in part of New York City area, Jersey across the river from Manhattan. I remember like yesterday seeing the Queen Mary, the Queen Elizabeth, the United States, all of the magnificent ships lined up in the harbor. Years. And now there's just a bunch of few ships occupying that space. Totally different.
Let's just say one thing really loud. Oddly enough, the biggest thrill of the whole trip was early in the morning. We were approaching New York City. That big ship, the biggest passenger liner ever built, going under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. And there's about 500 people up on the highest decks watching. And that big tall funnel, and look, and you just go under that bridge. And it just, you know, depending on the tide, which isn't that much in New York City. But anyway, it just nicely clears. It's under that bridge.
The kind of foreshadowing the Mexican ship.
Sailing vessel,
Quite
yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Quite clear the Brooklyn
Yeah.
Bridge.
The bridge.
Thomas, it's all yours.
My name's Tommy Noonan. Retired about 10, 11 years ago. Joined this group 9 years ago. And with the help of the group, Vince and others have published 7 books since 2019. Working on 2 more. Didn't sell the Atlantic this week, but I do go back and forth to Concord Mills Mall 4 or 5 times a week and walk 2 or 3 laps, which is like 2 or 3 miles. So when I'm not writing or playing in the yard or cooking, walking back and forth to the mall to stay healthy. Other than that, I just have a couple of readings.
Yes, please.
You do it now? Yeah. These are both the kind of things that sort of, for me, are never planned. They just sort of pop up, right? They're not a long story. They're not long. They're not a short story. They're not a novel. I don't work on them. I don't outline them. They just sort of happen. The first one is I wrote just before I retired. I'm writing introspectively about myself and how my workmates saw me. I was, to say the least, a rebel at my company. Company was Brown-Forman Corporation out of Louisville, Kentucky. They're makers of Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey, Woodford Reserve bourbon, high-end spirits and wines. Very conservative group. I know when I first joined, I came in, I had been hired by Fetzer Vineyards, a California winery. We were all young. Well, I wasn't young then, but most of the Fetzer people were young. Came out of the restaurant business. I remember my first joint meeting at Brown-Forman. There's the Fetzer people, salespeople, half women, dressed cash. There's the Brown-Forman men, all buttoned up. Right. And we like to think over the years, we taught them how to relax, how to chill, and how to hug and kiss. They shook hands. Fetzer people would hug and kiss. So anyhow, that was a company I came out of. Worked for them for 20 years. And had a well-deserved reputation of being a rebel. And here's this piece I wrote. It's called Being Myself. While society defines the normal, I refuse to abide by its codes. Rebuff is my response to the formal. I choose to travel divergent roads. My ideas are combative. They scare workmates away. I'm dead serious when I speak. I drive eccentric highways. I'm beyond comprehension. The uncommon is what I do. I see in 4 dimensions. Peculiar is how I come through. Colleagues whisper I'm strange. I spurn to be programmed. It's for others to change. My ideas aren't a sham. I've proffered many words. I own no more to write. I'm void of crisp thoughts to pen my concerns. I'm deficient in words, none are latched to my tongue. I'll stop for a period till my wisdom returns. The Seelbach Hotel, Louisville, Kentucky, December 14th, 2013. Here's the second piece. It's called Caucasian Race. The spring cast shadows between billowing white clouds as children frolicked in a schoolyard, momentarily forgotten by their parents. Fair hair and light complexion radiated in the light, whispering innocence and youth. Nestled in the shade of a stand of trees, a downcast elderly man of color sat, forlorn, staring at the youth and dreaming of the prosperity of their lives, pondering how his 77 years might have been if he had been born with the color of their skin. With playtime over, the children repeated to the haven of the charter school's classrooms, guided by time's measured pace. Their parents' good fortune was not due to inherited wealth or education, but to their Caucasian race. The man wondered, why did the Lord not cover my people with his grace? That just happened. Oh, French Express Coffee House, Kannapolis, North Carolina, September 16th, 2015. I read that, that's what's written.
That's really.
Flashback, okay?
Something happened with your Zoom.
Yeah, I put it on gallery view. Oh, use microphone and gallery.
Maybe I touched something.
What are you touching over?
I put a piece of plastic over it. It's my podium.
It's microphone. Oh, well, this time. I don't know what happened.
Sorry.
Your camera is being used by other apps. Join. I don't know what's happening now.
Are we joining?
I don't know.
What's
You
wrong,
were doing so well.
Vincent? Everything looks good.
Did Rosa hear me?
It looks good to you?
Yeah, and
Hi,
it
Rose.
sounds good.
Yeah, it's
No
not
echo?
working.
What were you trying to get what?
It's touch screen, so try not to put anything on it.
My hands.
Yeah, because everything is.
The
Just
video
stay
is fine on the podium. The video is fine in the room.
I
The
use a
sound
mouse.
and the sound is
No.
fine at the podium.
Okay, so don't touch anything.
Don't touch
You
anything.
you'll see yourself up here.
Right.
And
I
Oh,
know. Rosa, did you hear my readings?
I heard both of them.
Okay, good. We're good.
Okay, the French, I want to hear the French connection. The coffee place.
I wrote it at French Express. Have you been to the French Express? Well, that,
That
yeah.
time we went.
that's where I wrote the story Caucasian Race. And I've written a lot of things there.
it's okay.
I do a lot of my short pieces not at home. I do go to a coffee shop and the atmosphere is just different. And I sort of sit in a zone,
Yeah.
right? And I get an idea and it just keeps flowing, right? And there's activity around me and thoughts just come and come and come. Then I'll do the polishing at home, the editing at home. But I always not just date, but put the location of where I wrote each piece.
What do you mean? Where do you put the location? In the story?
A Food Lion,
Ah,
right? A Starbucks coffee house, the French Express, or whether the Sealbach Hotel, wherever it happens to be. I've got one piece I wrote, maybe I'll bring it next time, that I wrote at a convention of North Carolina Writers Network in Asheville about 4 years ago. I believe it's a DoubleTree Hotel.
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote a piece about it. The piece might have been called An Idea Just Fell. Just a one-page thing that I wrote while I was in that hotel, just because.
Now you gave me an idea. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sitting down now and not touching a thing.
You write by hand.
Yeah. Oh,
And when you're at the coffee shop, for example.
oh no, it's on a computer, it's on a PC. You know, I've writing in high school and grade school, even before grade school, was not my forte, you know, and I really have I cannot write my signature anymore. So it's always been like this. And I never got used to using a trackpad. I'm sort of addicted to a mouse. I think a mouse goes much quicker than a trackpad. It's much more accurate, but yet, no, I don't write. I'll use my phone a lot to record notes, like when I'm walking in Concord Mills Mall. If I'm working on a particular project, I'll use the memo part of the iPhone and make verbal notes. Then I go back and over the next couple of days, just play them back and then transcribe them at that point. Okay, it's a good question. But I make a lot of notes. I've always made them. I think I told this group at one time. At my company, I still sort of have it unofficially, an idea library, where it's just a document, and within a folder, within that folder is various documents, and idea after idea after idea. Every so often, I might go back 8 or 9 years to something like scribbled a long time ago. You know, I can do something with that piece. Then I pull that idea out of the idea library and start writing it down. But like here's an example of it's the beginning of the next book that I'm working on. I'm adding a section I didn't have before, going back to my Irish ancestors from 1848, but pictures from like 1910. And the book's going to start with maybe 12 pictures or so of my great-grandmother, great-grandfather, grandmother, and grandfather in Ireland, and the homes they were born and raised in, which is nothing like what we're used to around here. But I came up with a title yesterday of that chapter that's going to be number 1. It's going to be mostly pictures, and it's I am of the blood of my ancestors. I am of the blood of my ancestors. So that was just a little thing. I wrote it down. Hey, I got it. Write down. And that's going to become that first chapter's title. I am of the blood of my ancestors. And then ideas flow from there. There you go. There you go. Anyhow, thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Don.
Don't touch it.
If we promise not to touch the.
I won't touch any of that.
Are you taking pictures or you want me to take?
What's that?
Taking pictures or you take pictures?
I'll get one. Yeah, I can take pictures.
Oh,
Everybody's working slow today.
it's okay. It's a long walk.
Yeah,
It is a lot.
All right. You have to adjust the.
No, I'll stand back here. No, I just, the further away I stand, then I won't be tempted to touch anything. My name is Aaron Oliver. I am really new to this group. I think this is only my 4th meeting. I worked in television, both commercial and public television, doing shows and writing commercials and marketing and that kind of thing. I also didn't just cross the Atlantic, but I did just come back from a couple weeks in Arkansas. So that was pretty exciting. I actually took my laptop thinking I'd have some idle time because we camp to do some stuff, but I don't think it ever left the cabinet. So lots of ideas generated there every time I travel. It's always fun. You get inspiration as you do with anything else. And so I have been working on a couple of things involving caves and caverns and things like that. And there was lots of that in Arkansas to explore, as well as some amazing waterfalls and other things. Trying to think else, what did everybody else talk about? I have attended several workshops for writing, not with the North Carolina Writers Network, but with other groups. I would suggest, there's a couple of folks just out of Charlotte. If you want to meet some local writers, depending on what you do, it's kind of an unusual place. But Heroes Con, which is the big comic book festival that's coming up next month, it's called Heroes Con.
Thank you.
It's a comic book festival, probably one of the largest on the East Coast. They held it down in Charlotte at the convention center, but you'd be surprised how many authors are there that you get to talk to who've set up tables, and so you sort of get a sense of how they market and what they do. And it's not just comic books, it's all kind of books. I don't know if are you all familiar with Falstaff Books? It's a publishing company out of Charlotte. They do sort of horror, steampunk type of literature, but they always have a huge table there and bring a lot of their stable of authors to the table, so you can to talk to them as well. I got back from Arkansas. My plan was I had made some notes and I was going to go to work, but it's been crazy. The yard was a disaster. My wife volunteered us to help my daughter do this giant reworking with lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of rocks at her house. So that's all we've been doing. And now I'm also down in Mooresville this weekend. If you're all over there, you have a boat. My daughter's Boaters Warehouse, they're having a Memorial Day sale, so come down to that. Hopefully I'll have something next month and we'll be able to share that.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go next,
Okay.
only because he gave me a segue.
No, you're welcome.
So on the way over here today, I stopped at the Home Depot and I picked up rocks. I picked up 3 bags of pebbles or rocks that came from somebody's stream somewhere. And they weigh like 50 pounds a bag, and they come in plastic. And they have like a place like a bowling ball with 3 fingers. You can grab these things and you can grab it like 2 bags at a time. And then you could try to put them in the trunk of your car. And if you're 21 years old, you could do that. When you're 78 years old, which I will be tomorrow, by the way, it's not a good idea to do that. So in my car, I have 3 bags of 50-pound bags of rocks, 2 bags of pea pebbles, which each weigh about 50 pounds, and concrete, like a box of a 50-pound bag and a 25-pound bag of concrete, which I will try to bolster at home because I'm trying to build some kind of a water diversion path. Now, I'm saying all of this because I might be able to write a short story when I go back to my car, which is a Honda Accord 2007. It may or may not be working anyway. I'm thinking the trunk is handle that much weight. It's in there. I don't know. I may have to get a tow truck. So that might be the basis of a story. I might use the word that was an awesome opportunity to test the springs on my Honda. History will only tell if that car will survive. The small thing to think about the rocks going into the trunk. But it's a hell of a fight for that old car going up that hill and hoping that I'll get up, that I don't hit a pothole on the way back to Mount Pleasant. I couldn't resist that.
That's
Yeah, I just made it up.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway,
Oh, that
Mary,
was
did you
good.
want to share anything, a story? Oh, come on up here. Absolutely.
That was good.
Rose, can you hear all that? Yeah, come on.
That was good, Vincent. Very good.
No, I just,
I didn't bring my stool today.
that's okay. You know what?
They'll be lucky to see my face.
No, they'll see your face. Watch that. From adjusting the camera.
Okay.
Okay.
This can either be a sequel to the book I've already written, I'm not sure. Or it can be a lead into the book I've already written, I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna read it. Gertrude was a very young, resilient 72-year-old woman. She had began a series of visits with her granddaughter. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. With her granddaughter, Cindy, on the exploration of the reasons why women choose to give their bodies over to the condition of pregnancy. She believed pregnancy to be a condition of choice and as a means to an end, a baby, human. Most cultures and societies do not practice nor promote this choice-filled lifestyle for women and men. But we must take these signs of change popping up all around. I didn't read that. We must take care of ourselves and be a model of personal responsibility so that we feel good about our choices and not afraid to see the other happy options there are for our lives. For instance, I have talked to a few young women who in their childbearing years have found relationships with family members such as nieces and nephews or other friends and acquaintances, other acquaintances' children to be extremely rewarding and even vitally needed. These relationships, they say, are very valued for the time they have to put into this of nurturing a child or even many children. Some history on the creation of this woman, Gertrude, in the story. Gertrude is the author of this story and also the self-appointed matriarch of the 3-generational family of women that the book is about. Gertrude being the first generation, Petra, Gertrude's daughter, being the second generation, and Cindy, Petra's daughter, and Gertrude's granddaughter, being the third generation represented in this story.
Yeah. Okay. Jim, do you have the cane? Are you able to come up?
I don't,
Yeah, well, that,
hope that will pick me up right.
come on up.
Oh, he's got his sword
Careful.
in the trunk of his car. You would listen to rock, you're in good shape.
As I tell everybody who I meet, I'm a walking medical encyclopedia, so
Yeah.
I've had,
Jim, just don't touch the screen.
I'm not, I will read
I'm
that.
just here thing.
Yeah, I've had 2 transplants, 3 strokes, a small heart attack. I've had my knee replaced. I've had my parathyroids taken out. But other than that, everything's okay. So there we are. I'm also 78 years old. I'm already 78. We're recently arrived in North Carolina. We live in Harrisburg. We love it. We're originally from Cleveland, Ohio, although I was born in Greece. My mom and I came to America in 1955, and I've lived there in Cleveland, Ohio ever since, with the exception of 4 years I spent in North Carolina, 70 through 74, when I was in the Coast Guard at Morehead City, North Carolina. So that's the background, okay? I have been a writer all my life. I am something of a coward, I guess, because I haven't had the nerve or the confidence to try to publish anything until quite late in life. I've started doing so 2018 or so. And much of the stuff is stuff that I've been writing all along, constantly getting reworked. And this is an example of one of them, okay? As I've said, I am a poet primarily. I did write for a small Ohio newspaper as a reporter. I was about 40,000 circulation. I wrote the curriculum for the Coast Guard recruiting office. And that's about it. My wife is Irish, even though I'm Greek. Strange combination, I agree. Full of sparks, let's say. But we've been married for 56 years, so I guess everything's okay. So now, oh, I don't have the one I wanted. Give me that paper there. I'm sorry. I apologize. See, that's what happens when you get old.
Okay, so starts here,
Yes.
and then when you're done there, I'll be back.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Okay.
So this poem is called A Paean to My Patron Saint. Many's the time, many's the men and women over centuries who trampled mindlessly, as I did once, over the sainted sleeping boy, my namesake saint, Demetrius. Demetrius, who rests in subterranean peace beneath the stumbling feet of tourists to Byzantium's second city. Sorry.
Over.
Oh, over. Okay. Sorry about that. To Byzantium's second city, deep in the grotto of the church, washed by the saving knowledge that the sainted boy had died as he had lived, in service to the city's Christian faith, buried in what was once the pagan bath, on whose foundation those of faith had built the church, supported by the bones of him who fought the dragon for the Greeks, as Saint George of England had. Two brave and holy souls, the both of them willing to risk their lives to save the innocence of faith from Satan's fiend. Praise to them both. Praise to Thessaloniki's church, which has through history survived, though fallen twice on evil times. First, when she fell into the hands of infidels, the Turks, as had the mother church of holy wisdom, Hagia Sophia, who, when Byzantium's capital, Constantinople, had fallen to the Turks, and then again to the engulfing operations of a cleansing fire, by which she nonetheless was purified. I missed my place. Was purified of the profanities and shameful disregard to which the human soul has fallen often ere since Father Adam fall from grace. Yet, bolstered by the underpinning of the saints' remains, the church survived and proudly stands in memory for me today, since I confess the last and only time that I would ever walk into the sacred space. I was but 9 years old. At any rate, I lit a candle then and said a prayer before the holy icon of the saint before I turned and trod the corridor over the resting place of what remains of him and walked out of the church, the city, and the very country of my birth, seeking a new patrida, as my mom and I departed for America, the legendary paradise on earth, where I, like every immigrant, believed I would be saved, not by the champion of the faith, my patron saint, but by the worldly opulence which, quite unlike Demetrius, I lost my place here, I'm sorry. Concord. I lost my place. I'm sorry, Demetrius villainous. Yeah. Villainous reptilian foe I failed to conquer in my life, perhaps because although I still possess the icon of the saint my mother gave me years ago, which hangs displayed upon my study wall, it hangs there merely as artifact and not the holy incarnation of my mind and soul. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
just,
I'm sorry I stumbled over the words.
well, I don't want you to stumble over the wire.
I won't.
With, you said with confidence. Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Can I read this?
Yeah.
I'll give it back to you in a minute.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Thank
So,
you.
I had an opportunity to read that poem because Jim submitted it to me for publishing in the Trail Tales. It'll be the story in the June issue of Trail Tales in the Senior Savvy newspaper. And I could just feel that 9-year-old boy that you were in that magnificent cathedral with that, lighting that candle and then bringing it home, this home of we call America. And the way you tied it to Greece, to the motherland, to the country where civilization and where Western civilization and where democracy was born, and then here in America where it's being reborn in some fashion. Without getting political, I can't do that, Rosa, because this is not a political meeting. But it was a joy to read for me personally because I came in on a boat. And, I was born in Germany and I have this wonderful German birth certificate with an accompanying piece of paper that says I was a child born to an American citizen abroad. If I separate the two pieces of paper, I guess I could live in Germany and learn how to speak the language and go back to Frankfurt. But the image of you coming here as a 10-year-old child brought back some awareness of what mom went through and what my family went through as they came here to this country, and what Christina's family went through coming here from Romania, and what Bob has gone through coming from Nova Scotia. We're all a land of immigrants, and we are living in a strange time, but it's nothing that we haven't through before. So again, not to get political, and I won't, Rosa, we met at a political event. So it's a blessing to have a meeting like this, to be able to have writers come and talk about their experience, to bring it back, to tie it back to our origins, and then somewhat, as you did in your poem, project what's next. What's there for the next generation? At 78 years old, there's not a lot of runway left, It's the children. My daughters are in there. They're going to be 50 years old. The other one's already 51. It's going to be your generation, Christina, and the ones behind that will
Can I
take
tell
the
you a
writing.
Story.
Yes.
When we first came here, my mother and I didn't speak any English. All I knew was yes, no, and my name. And of course, immediately I got grabbed by the hand and taken to Denison Elementary School in Cleveland, Ohio, to register. I had my mom with me, and I had my cousin's wife with me, who was fluent both in Greek and in English. She was the bridge for us. So we did whatever we had to do. And all of a sudden, this woman comes out of nowhere. She had 2 perfect red rouge circles on her cheek. She had eyelashes that went like this. And she waddled back and forth as she walked. And she grabs me by the hand and takes me to a classroom. I thought I was going to sit down and start class. Well, I sat down at the first chair that I saw. She says, I know this story because it's been told to me so many times. Tell me, young man, what's your name? And I looked at her and I go, Noah. She says, no. my name is Isaac. What is your name? And I go, Noah. And this went back and forth a few times. And finally, she grabs me by the hand again, takes me over to my mom, who knows even less than I do. And she says to her, would you please explain to him that my name is Mr. Isaac and I'm trying to introduce myself and would like him to tell me what his name is. And my mom looks at her and goes, Noah. And that was that.
Oh, my goodness, that's cute. And Rosa, could you hear that even though he was at a different part of the tape? Okay. Come share your story, Nina, and
My story.
I can hear
yes,
them
well,
from there. I can hear them
one
from
that
there.
yes,
I promise I'm not gonna touch.
don't tell.
Okay.
There you go.
I have mine. I had to take a screenshot on my phone because it's on the laptop. So it's the awesome opportunity, history, small and fight. In 1877, Romania announced its independence from the Ottoman Empire. During World War I, after proclaiming its rights to exist, Romania in 1914 fought until 1916. In the fallout war, Bukovina, Basarabia, Transylvania, also parts of Banat, Crișana, and Maramureș participated in the Kingdom of Romania. A small part of my heritage brought memories of my ancestor, stories of his past. I had an opportunity to learn about the time when he lived in Basarabia, a storyteller and a man that had no fear of the dark. What is the chance the two of us that we never met have the same vision of life? More than 125 years ago, my grandfather's monochrome tells a story of importance. To fight in war, a military soldier wore a stripe of ribbons for his achievements. In ancient history, it's awesome to learn about his history.
So I could visualize your grandfather. I have seen some of those ribbons that you're talking about.
You did?
Yeah.
He had few
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So Rosa, I'm going to keep the meeting going, but I'm going to end the recording. So
Okay,
don't go away.
all right.
Well, what is I don't know.
She's there.
Yeah, here we go. So yes. Okay.